Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News episode 409. Mike.
409.
I'm
Almost
one of
there.
your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, we're almost a tenth of the way to 500.
Yeah, just another...
Just like that.
What,
Damn.
sometime next year?
Yeah. I believe if the math checks out, yeah. Richard Fairgray's back for the 22nd time. Love to have him on the show.
Yeah,
a lot more deep of a conversation than normal, so I think most of you listeners that have heard Richard before are going to be pleasantly surprised by this interview.
Yeah, I enjoyed having that side of a conversation with him. Like, it was different than what I expected when I'm walking in, but I felt like I got more out of him than we normally do. Other than, like,
I think
just crazy stories out of that man all the time, but this was much more personal. And
I think he tends to not take himself so seriously in our interviews, but like this was like, okay, and I understand why he's so good at what he does now, because he does really understand comics, writing, art on like such a deeper level than people realize. So it's cool to have that talk.
I think about it sometimes because he said after the interview something that was like, I care about these things in my life.
Yeah.
And they were very focused and insular. And like, I'm a scattershot brain person where like I'm always trying new things and like doing different stuff. And like, I'm trying to achieve different goals and everything. But at the end of the day, I always felt like comics were at the end of the day my passion. Like, they're the things I come home to every day and I love.
Yeah.
And they're all around me and all that. And I left that going like, that's a man who's passionate about comics.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, his passion makes mine look like a freaking hobby on the side.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just awesome. We got some movie news, got some shows coming out, some movies came out. So
a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere, and I'm kind of happy because after the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out, I know you and I have been like, when are we going to get more of that? Because I really enjoyed it. Deadline reported that Netflix is working with Hasbro to develop a live-action Dungeons and Dragons series, tentatively titled The Forgotten Realms. Rightfully so. It should be. The report also says the producer Sean Levy from Stranger Things, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and writer-showrunner Drew Crivello from We Crashed are signed on to develop the series. Netflix and Hasbro have not commented on the rumor. This just makes sense because this would get me excited for Netflix again.
Yeah, and seeing like Sean's moved on from Stranger Things a long time ago, but we're coming on the end of that show. Like, we should be getting the final season here soon.
Yeah, we think.
And by soon, I mean within the next year or so.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Netflix has been looking for that thing to really make them visible again in that way. Like, they're not... When Stranger Things first came out, like, Netflix was the thing that everybody looked at. Like, that's the golden goose that you want to be. And they have since dropped because there's so many streaming services, but also they haven't had a thing like that that's really captured that zeitgeist. And I'm not saying that Dungeons and Dragons is going to do it, but I am saying that jumping into some IP work, doing things that are good first, are going to get you to that point. And I'm super excited about this just because I think it's a world that we can dive more into, and we can do things like the movie that is a little more jokey and fun with a great adventure. And we could probably do like a really serious fantasy thing that will get the Game of Thrones and the Lord of the Rings people into this world and see that it's not just some nerdy game, that it's more than that.
I think Hasbro's been struggling a lot recently, besides Magic the Gathering, is like their only outperforming product. So
go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say that any exposure to that world is going to help them, I think.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about it last week, but there was an announcement about a Magic the Gathering movie coming as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah.
So it makes sense that Hasbro is making moves to make these big IPs something bigger.
Right.
And I feel the same way about Magic the Gathering as Dungeons and Dragons. Like, there is something serious and a great world there that the casual audience can get into.
Yep. I agree, and I think this came about from Hasbro's last earnings meeting at the end of the year, basically being like, guys, we need to start doing some stuff. And they could have looked at the comic book industry and been like, look at what like Marvel, Walking Dead, all the cinematic and TV show stuff did for comics, right?
Yeah.
It definitely gave it a boost. So they're like, why don't we do that for our properties? It makes sense. I mean, the stories are there. So,
and fantasy has arguably never been hotter than it is right now.
So
you can
hot.
maybe make an argument for when the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out.
Yeah.
But I think that was more of an insular one thing was capturing the zeitgeist, as opposed to Game of Thrones was one of the biggest shows ever.
Yep.
We're getting more Lord of the Rings stuff all the time. Like I see fantasy everywhere at this point, and it makes sense for Dungeons and Dragons to jump on that, and Magic the Gathering at that.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm excited.
Honestly, out of this like Dark Horse, where the fuck are the comics? I still want to know that, but
yeah, give us more of that.
I'm down for this property in particular to get.
Yeah, I'll be watching both of these excitedly if they end up coming out.
100%. And please, like, I love the movie. I think it was really well done, and there's a space for that. But if you take this seriously and really dive into this world, like something like Baldur's Gate did recently, it could be as big as Game of Thrones. It really could be.
Oh yeah, there's so many. Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways they can go, and
there's so much, just so much to pull from. Like,
yeah, there really is. Yeah. This is interesting. Robert Kirkman, co-creator of Invincible and The Walking Dead, said during an interview that he's reached out to Bryan Cranston to voice a character for Invincible, the animated series. Every season has been turned down. He's known to be a big Breaking Bad fan, wants to get Cranston as the last cast member from the series to work on Invincible. Which is, I think it's funny because like Bryan Cranston does have such an iconic voice, and I like when I read this, I pictured a phone call with him and Cranston being like, "No, fuck you," and then he hangs
up. I want to know what Cranston's reason is, because
everybody's on the show.
I at this point it feels like a gimmick that like Kirkman's going to do it every season no matter what.
Yeah, he's going to.
And then like the final season, Cranston's going to play this character in the background for like one scene.
Yeah.
But I would love to know his reason, because people can say like Cranston's picky about what he chooses. He's not. He's in 50 Rock. He's in Seinfeld. He's in all these shows as like a one done character all the time. And to this day, even after Breaking Bad. So I don't know, maybe he's got something against cartoons. Maybe he just doesn't want to do superhero stuff. I don't know, but I would love to know the reason one day why he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, that would be funny. And speaking of that, we can get into the latest episode of Invincible.
Thought of you throughout this episode, by the way.
Yeah.
At least in the last half of it.
I want to say something we didn't talk about from the first 3 episodes last week. They've been getting a little cheeky with the credit scenes, after credit scenes, where they've been like longer than normal, I feel like. Where they almost were like, okay, these used to be like, B-side scenes that are fun, quippy, 30 seconds. Now they're like full on. This feels like the back of a comic book story arc for a few pages. To when this episode shows up, it's really funny because like I think I like screamed out about Battle Beast at the end of this. Like they showed the door and I'm like, it's fucking Battle Beast. It's Battle Beast. And Katie's sitting there watching because she watches alongside, but she doesn't like pay attention fully to the show. And she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Battle Beast!" Like this is Battle. And then I didn't realize that Optimus Prime was voicing Battle Beast. I guess I must have forgot that.
I remember us talking about that when it was announced.
Okay, first off, I know there was another part of the episode, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about Battle Beast. One of my favorite characters of all time. To hear that voice with him, I was like, this is perfect. It was the perfect embodiment of the character, I think. And then, you get the fighting the Vulturemites and all this shit, and he's like, oh man, he's just so over the top. That was such an amazing reveal, and it happened in the after credits scene where they're like, oh, this will be the most important part of the episode, but we're going to save it for later. Just to cut into the middle of the sex scene with Mark and Eve.
was you really say funny. Like after credit scene, it was a 20-minute like
yeah
it was a whole episode.
It was literally a whole episode because I was like, wow, that was a really quick episode. And then we get them back in the space shuttle for another 20 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? It was amazing.
I thought they're going to drag out this whole thing for the whole season.
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
Omni-Man in prison thing.
I'm so glad they didn't.
Yeah, because this is amazing. And then the reveal at the end of that, the like Omni-Man tells him finally, there's only like 50 or so of us around.
Yeah.
That are pure blooded.
Yeah.
And Alan getting that like twinkle in his eyes to be like, oh, so we have a chance. Like you're telling me there's a shot.
You're telling me there's a shot. We could do this thing. Yeah.
The whole sequence is great. And then Battle Beast. I love the suicidal nature of that character. Like he wants to die.
Yeah.
But he will not. He will go full bore into every battle. Like, you're going to earn killing me, but could you please just fucking kill me already?
Yeah, he's like, just kill me already, dude. And he's like literally beating the shit out of him as he's doing that. What do you think of the voice?
Oh, it was great. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Like exactly what I thought when I was reading it in my head. Like I had kind of a deep,
an epic,
like a big fantasy character, like this big monster coming over and about to attack the good guys in that zone. So it fits. It works. I thought it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. And yeah, there was a first half with like Eve and Mark, and they're trying to figure out who's spying on Mark's house because it's not Cecil. So that was good and all, but like the second half was really what we're here for.
Well, so I'll go into the first half then, because the first half was Mark going into the future and having to kill the Immortal.
That I forgot about that part. Yeah, that part was epic. Where was it the fight, the like ninjutsu guy or I forget what those two guys. They're
the
like
two guys that stole the Declaration of Independence.
The Kung Fu guys. Yeah. I want to say Judo Master, but that's DC. But they bring him into the future because there's like this tyrant king, and it ends up being immortal, and like you get that whole I've been alive thousands of years, you have no idea what it does to my mind, and he's gone completely fucking insane, and he has to murder him. And then he has to go back to his date after.
Immediately seconds pass for Eve when this is going on. Yeah.
She's like, so what's up? And it's like,
It was a great sequence. I love the idea. Like, it's kind of tropey with immortal characters at this point, but like it always works. Like at the end of the time, he's watched, and I like even the moment where he says, well, "What about Kate?" and Immortal's like, "Who's Kate?" He's like, I've watched hundreds of wives come and die, and it's like she's just another one along the way. And to Mark, like that's somebody he cares about in the moment of his life, and that was pretty deep as well. And then I love the whole sequence, how it really challenges Mark's morality. And we always talk about like the whole Batman doesn't kill thing, and Mark doesn't have that, but he does struggle with it.
Right.
And I always enjoy that. And then I liked the Mark and Eve on a date thing.
Yeah,
and
it was good, but like
first time they tell each other they love each other and all this stuff. Like it was a fun sequence, and I like that relationship. I think in the comics they work really well. So as a whole, this is one of my favorite episodes they've ever done. Oh yeah, because there's just so much there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And when you capped it with Battle Beast,
they're like, how could this get better? Battle Beast every time. So it makes me so excited for the comic book, man. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's got to be coming out soon, isn't it?
It's I thought I said end of February, right? I'm pretty sure.
Invincible presents
Battle Beast comic.
Battle Beast #1, April 23rd.
Oh man. Okay.
So we're a few months away.
Damn. All right. Soon. We got some good chunk of movie news for the He-Man Masters of the Universe live action movie. It's begun filming in London. We got some more casting news as well as set photos, which is awesome. Amazon, MGM Studios, and Mattel announced that Morena Baccarin and Johannes Hakur Johannesson have joined the cast as the Sorceress and Fisto. The set photos show Nicholas Galitzine as Prince Adam and He-Man's sword in what looks like a modern-day London setting. I do think it's interesting that they're... I'm just looking at some of the stuff right now. I do think it's interesting that we're going to get like a modern London setting for these characters.
So real quick, the casting, like, it's funny they're doing Fisto. That's about all I have on that.
Yeah, them doing Fisto is amazing. Yeah.
And if you want to hear more about Richard Fairgrave's opinion of that, stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
The photos. So we've stated this 1,000 times already, but like I'm not the big He-Man fan.
Right.
They did this in the original Master of the Universe movie in the 80s, right? Where he's a guy from Earth that goes.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's canon to the cartoons or not. Do you know?
He's like Prince Adam. He's like of royalty. I don't think that was part of I don't know. The original cartoon, I'm not sure. The one I watched, I don't think so. But Morena Baccarin as a sorceress, I forgot. She's the actress from the Gotham show that played the Doctor. And she also was she played the love interest in the Deadpool movies. So seeing her, I think she's going to be a great sorceress. I'm pretty pumped for that.
Okay, take this with a grain of salt because it's coming from Google AI.
Oh yeah, so don't believe anything.
But it does link to an article. Maybe I should read that. But anyways, It says Prince Adam is from the planet Eternia, but he is half Eternian, half Terran. His mother, Queen Marlena, is an astronaut from Earth who crash landed on Eternia.
Oh fuck! I didn't know that. That's crazy. That makes the story even wilder.
Like I've jumped into this and like honestly, just the Kevin Smith stuff's all I really liked.
Yeah,
but I am always confused on why we have to do like why does this character have to be on Earth at all? Just
right.
Eternia is the more interesting thing.
Yeah,
but we'll see at the end of the day what the movie is.
You can get to Eternia with a spaceship does really interest me though.
I think the pictures of him being arrested by the police.
Yeah.
Like, it looks goofy and cartoony, and I think that's what I like about it. Like, it doesn't look... it's one of those things where going back to, like, how I felt about Ant-Man 3 and how, like, it was so goofy and surreal that happened.
Yeah.
That I liked it. Like, that's how I feel about that. Like, it's got a bit of camp to it. Like, why would this dude who looks like he jumped out of that cartoon...
Yeah.
With the pink shirt and all.
And the sword, too. It almost looks like he's cosplay.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be cleaned up, obviously, for theaters, but it is interesting. I hope we don't spend too much time on Earth trying to, like... I really hope they don't do this intro where Prince Adam is this guy on Earth who realizes he's actually a prince and then has to go to Eternia, and we spend like a half an hour, 45 minutes wasting our time in fucking London when I don't want to be there.
This guy playing, I know. I don't want to deal. We want to be on Eternia.
Yeah, just put me on Eternia as fast as possible.
But like, he looks pretty jacked as a Prince Adam. He already looks like a pretty big dude.
I always got from the cartoons, though, it's not like Adam was like super scrawny.
No, he was just like not on roids.
Yeah, it felt like a Superman to Clark Kent thing where like he kind of dresses down, but you could tell he's fucking jacked under there.
All right, Chris, give us the lowdown. You saw Captain America: Brave New World.
You haven't gone to see it?
No, I have. I don't know if I will get out to see it anytime soon, but just give me the rundown. Spoil whatever you want, especially that popcorn you sent me, the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I had red, white, and blue caramel popcorn. That was delightful.
Did they have any special like drink holders or anything?
Oh yeah, they had cups and popcorn buckets and keychains and so I went to Regal around here,
and they do all the crazy.
And Regal has opened up its own Hot Topic inside of the theater.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
it's
insane.
It's really surreal. Like as you're walking through, I saw pop figures in the line to get popcorn and everything. It's crazy. But anyways, we got the special Captain America popcorn because I had to. I didn't really need a Red Hulk popcorn bucket, so I skipped that one.
Yeah. Especially
since it's really uncanny that it's just a big, like, buff Red Hulk with Harrison Ford's face.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yep.
But the movie as a whole, I enjoyed. I thought it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's more akin to Winter Soldier.
Yep.
In that it's got this, like, espionage action movie feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
The leader... When they get to the leader, it gets almost horror movie-esque.
Okay.
He doesn't have the big, like, funny, like, cone head brain.
Okay.
He's it more looks like a guy who's deformed through radiation.
Oh.
And you can see parts of his brain sticking out of his head, and his face is all deformed and everything. So they went kind of almost a horror movie realm with that character.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone in there's great. The dude from Breaking Bad, I'm forgetting his name now.
Yeah.
Plays a really good character. So that being added in later on, I know that was a big story about reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
Felt pretty seamless, like everything there. And he played the guy that got you to the guy.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So I'm sure he will show up again later on as they do something with the Serpent Society.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really introducing that as a paramilitary group that is a part of this world.
That's cool.
They introduced adamantium in this movie.
Oh, nice.
So that is now a thing in the MCU.
That's pretty awesome.
Which leads me to believe that they're going to do the original Ultimate X-Men mutants are created by the government.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because one of the big story plots of this is that adamantium is coming from that giant celestial that came out of the Indian Ocean.
Uh-huh.
If anyone remembers the Eternals movie, I apologize. But if you remember what happened in that movie, that celestial came out. That movie was awful, man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't finish it.
The celestial at the end of the movie comes out and is just like sticking out of the planet.
Yeah.
And like they have not acknowledged it once
it's still
until
there.
this movie. And the acknowledgement is that it has adamantium in it, and that's where they get adamantium from. So all the different countries are fighting over it.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a big plot line where Japan and America are both being brainwashed by the leader to fight each other.
Oh, nice.
It's a great sequence where Falcon Cap is just flying around as jets are fighting each other, and he's trying to like de-escalate it.
That's awesome.
Action sequences are great.
Yeah.
The story is fine. It's not going to blow your socks away, but it's an MCU movie. Do you really want it to?
The only criticism I've seen is like it's a very safe story. Like nothing.
This is my thing at this point.
Yeah.
Go back to those old MCU movies.
Right.
They're all safe, man. Like
no, I just mean like
part.
they're not nothing really that big for the overall plot, right? As far as like moving things along, or
I would strongly disagree with that, but
okay.
And I'll get to that. But I think the plot is what you expect from one of these movies at this point.
Yeah.
Like I think people want something that it just is never going to happen in these movies. You want something that's coming from an indie movie or something. You want a deeper movie. I want Cap punching Hulk in the face.
That's what you're going to these movies for.
Where I'll say there is a deeper moving of the plot is one of the big plot lines is Harrison Ford, Thunderbolt Ross. The reason he brings Cap to the White House is because he wants to restart the Avengers. And they do have a lot of talk about the Avengers coming back and Sam being the one to lead the team.
Cool.
And we also get... we're going full spoilers on this, everybody, so... Bucky shows up at one point, and we find out that Bucky is like running for Congress.
What the hell?
Yeah. There's a lot there that we could go into huge details about every little thing that happens, from like Bucky showing up to we learn about another Black Widow that's out there. There's a lot that moves forward the MCU.
That's cool.
So those people apparently didn't watch the same movie as me.
Yeah.
The Harrison Ford Red Hulk thing was funny. Like it's one scene. It's a quick fight.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. They
marketed that movie as that, and that's not what this movie is.
That's so funny.
But there's... So the woman that plays Betty Ross, and I'm zoning on her name, but from the original Incredible Hulk movie, that I forget the actor too, but she shows up at the end of this movie, which was a great kind of full circle moment.
Wow.
Of her coming back just for a quick role. Yeah, and then I just think overall it's one of the better MC movies we got in a while. Good. I really, really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Sounds like we're back on track then.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this could be, like, they do the whole Captain America return thing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see in the next coming movies, outside of Thunderbolts, because I don't know if you saw the new poster for it, but the reason there's a hashtag on there is they put a hashtag, or not hashtag, a star on there, is they put a little thing at the bottom, like an editor's notes, that says, like, the Avengers aren't available, so they're not showing up.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like this is the first step of them doing what they did back all the way back in Iron Man when Thunderbolt Ross showed up and said, I want to start this team. We're calling it the Avengers.
Yep.
And they did it here with Thunderbolt Ross again, saying we need to restart the Avengers, which is going to lead up to these big movies.
Yeah, I think it's that's awesome.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's
cool.
It's a good action movie.
That is funny that there's only one fight scene of Red Hulk. I thought it was a whole Red Hulk.
The main fight scenes are between the bad guy from Breaking Bad and Sam.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Throughout it, like there are a lot of that's the big action sequences where there's a lot of guns being shot and people flying around, and then the one big over the ocean where Sam's fighting jet pilots because what else are you gonna do with the Falcon?
Yeah, what else? You gotta come on. That's all you can do.
The fight with Hulk was good, but it is fairly quick.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I just gotta find some time to do that. And then we got Thunderbolts coming out next
May,
right? Yeah, a few months.
No, March. What is it? March?
I want to say it's sooner than May.
Thunderbolt. Oh,
we're getting closer to July. That's all that matters to me.
Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Yeah, May 2nd.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Oh, and I got the trailers ahead of it. This is the first time I got to see Superman, the big screen, the trailer.
Man. Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was great. And
so jealous.
We got Thunderbolts. And then a funny little story from that is I went with my girlfriend and she looks at me at the end of the movie as we're waiting for the end credit scene to happen. And she's like, so why is this Hulk red? And they explain it a little bit in the movie where he was slowly introduced to gamma, so he didn't get bombarded by it, so his skin was a different color. It was a stupid explanation, but whatever.
Right.
And I just looked at her. I said, "Well, you see, if you make a red Hulk, you can take the mold for the Hulk toy, you can paint it red, and then sell two different toys." Yeah. She just laughed at me and goes, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "That's what happened in a boardroom."
Yeah, that someone was like, "If we just paint him another color."
And I bought this, so I'm part of the problem. And then we do the special Comic-Con edition where it's half green, half red. Yeah.
And then we do the Chase one that's gray.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Blue
all about
Hulk
the toys.
Incoming.
It's all about the toys, baby. All right, everybody, let's get to the comic book news of this section here. Marvel announced a new limited series titled Division and Scarlet Witch from writer Steve Orlando and artist Lorenzo Tomato and Jacopo Camagni? Wow. Camagni, yeah, sounds Italian. Interesting, they're already announcing it's a limited series, but the Vision of Scarlet Witch serves as the latest evolution of Orlando's ongoing Scarlet Witch run, which has successfully redefined the adventures of Wanda Maximoff. Carving out her own path in the Marvel Universe as a solo hero, Scarlet Witch's magic has never been more powerful, but when it comes to helping Vision, she'll need more than strength alone. Befitting their decades-spanning romance, Scarlet Witch and Vision team up for a dramatic saga that will test their souls, break their hearts, reunited under fatal circumstances. Mysterious doors are opening all over the world, drawing people into the promises of miracles and reunions with lost loved ones. When Vision is mortally wounded, investigating the deadly truth of the doors, the Scarlet Witch resorts to extreme measures to save his life, and the results are unlike any ever expected. Yeah, that's not too crazy about that art on the main cover. But I'm not going to read this book either way. So.
It's what I've come to expect. I mean,
yeah,
Scarlet Witch fans have enjoyed what Orlando's doing, and
that's
he
good.
He has a style. It doesn't flow with me personally, but it's funny. You said it's funny that they already announced it's a limited series. This is one thing that Marvel does better than DC is they announce their limited fucking series.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, DC needs to be better about that.
Because I have said 1,000 times at the comic shop that if I knew whether those new Absolute books were limited or ongoing, that would probably have me buying all or some of them. Mm-hmm. But I just can't. Yeah. Anyways, I don't care about Scarlet Witch. So.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. I hope people like it. But he's been doing a lot of Scarlet Witch stuff.
This next Marvel book.
Oh, I'm buying the fuck out of this next one.
Will sell out. It's probably already in its fourth printing, everybody.
Yeah.
Marvel announced that the next Disney What If comic will be What If Donald Duck became Iron Man. from writers Luca Barbareri and Steve Belling, with artist Donald Sofridi. From Fowl to Shellhead. Okay. Donald Duck finds himself in the clutches of the Beagle Boys, forced to build a machine designed to crack into Uncle Scrooge's money bin. Donald has other plans and builds the ultimate suit of armor. Can the fearless Fowl foil the plans of the Beagle Boys and make it to his date with Daisy Duck? Yeah, this cover is amazing. There's several covers. But it is Donald Duck in an Iron Man costume, and they're all fantastic. We need more what ifs like this, because this is amazing.
They've been doing these are fun, like these Disney what if books. They're all one shots.
Yeah, which is fine.
They just work.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If you want to have a good time and not think too much and just like enjoy your whatever 10-15 minutes takes to read a comic,
this is it.
This is the book for you. I really love these. And I'm not a big Disney guy. Like,
yeah, me either. But I want to read this.
I'm a big what if guy though. So yeah, I'll be buying the fuck out of this. And just that cover sells it, man.
Yeah, it's an amazing cover.
And if I remember correctly, the writers on this, they've been doing all the Disney what if books, and they've, like I said, solid.
Cool.
Just exactly what you expect out of a book like this. They don't try to do anything special.
A Donald Duck is
yeah. They know the job, and they do it.
Yeah, they do it. They get it done.
Yeah.
Dark Horse announced a new series titled Seance in the Asylum, from writer Clay McLeod Chapman and artist Leonardo Marcello Grassi. 1865. The Civil War finally reaches its grueling end. Soldiers returning from the front line come home broken, their minds shattered. An influx of patients overwhelms the Ashcroft Hospital. Hey, an asylum in upstate New York. Dr. John James Templeton is busy developing a radical new theory, spiritualism. The act of communicating with the dead is its own form of therapy. What better way to draw out these mental maladies than with a little assistance from the other side? Yeah, great idea. Templeton enlists Alicia Wilkinson, a medium who established herself as a sought-after conduit capable of contacting the dead as a young girl. These seance sessions become cutting-edge form of spectral therapy, where patients are permitted to converse with, perhaps expunge their maladies by reaching out beyond the veil of our world. These spirits aid in drawing out illnesses of the patient, but something is changing in the patients. They're acting different, possessed, perhaps. Templeton's experiment is too successful. Is it up to Alicia to understand what is happening to the patients of Ashcroft before it's too late? Yeah, that's certainly an interesting take. I do like the horror side of it. The fact that they're getting therapists to use ghosts to do the therapy is a little unrealistic, because that's kind of terrifying. Yeah, we're just going to have you join this practice and we're going to use ghosts now. I'd be like, see ya. It sounds pretty cool, though. I do like the idea.
Yeah, apparently Clay McLeod Chapman is the master of horror, according to Dark Horse, too. I didn't add that to the...
Oh, thanks for clearing that up, Dark Horse. I had no idea who that was.
So... I like the premise, but I don't know if I would be...
No, I think it's a cool idea.
It'd be one of those things that for someone like you, a big horror fan, would probably dig it more than me.
One out, for maybe first couple issues.
I do like the setting.
Yeah.
Civil War,
ghosts. Yeah.
Anything history, I'm there for.
Yeah. All right, Chris, let's talk about what we read this week.
I got slim pickings this week, Mike. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, for me as well. So, straight up, everybody, I read one book, the only book. It was Absolute Batman #5.
Okay. I actually did not get to that this week.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then this works out for us. I thought it was great. It was a great issue. I really like the villain, the Black Mask, and kind of we get a lot more interaction with him and Batman. Basically, Batman gets all that money from Black Mask. He burns it all up, wastes it to kind of trigger him and get him like exposed to the public. And then we find out it really doesn't matter that he exposed him. But what it does do is generates a fallout between him and Alfred working together. And Alfred's like, you just completely botched our plan. So he doesn't want to work with him anymore. But now Batman has got like the shit beat out of him, and he's like stabbed and everything because he lost his fight with Black Mask. And he ends up like on the run, and a GCPD officer finds him. I think it's Montoya finds him, and he asks for her help. So Batman's like got the shit kicked out of him. He burned all the money, and then Alfred has left him, so he's really back to square one. It was a good issue, though. I really liked it.
Cool. I'll stay with the Batman theme. I got a couple books from last week that I finished up. But I don't know if you remember the series, Mike.
Uh-huh.
Batman Offworld.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Number 6 came out.
Yeah, how long has it been? It's been
4 or 5
years.
months. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would not recommend this series as a whole. It's okay. It's Batman in space. Like, it's an early Batman too, so like he had just discovered that there's other planets out there and everything. Cool conclusion. I like the idea that he basically got his ass kicked by some alien on Earth, decided to go out into space to learn more about them so he could come back and kick the alien's ass.
Of course. That's
the basic premise, but honestly, as far as Jason Aaron work goes, probably one of my least favorite things by him.
Damn.
But saying that, my least favorite by Jason Aaron is still better than a lot of people's top work. So
that's true.
Yeah, if you're a big Aaron fan or a big Batman fan, check it out. But it's not like a special thing that I would pull out that everybody should read. One that I thought of you while reading is Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, number 9.
Nice.
This is the origin of Luke Cage.
Okay.
So we find out that Luke Cage was, like in the regular universe, arrested and he's put in jail. But there's some special laws in place in this version of the world where you could get these. Luke is given a sentence at 16 where he could do 1 year or life.
Okay.
So you don't know where in between that you're actually going to get out. And we find out that he basically spends the majority of his life in jail.
Okay.
And so there's some commentary there about, wrongful imprisonment and all that shit. But the important thing, Mike, is that Tony Stark comes to him at one point in his journey and gives him back his powers like he has for so many characters throughout the Ultimate Universe at this point.
Okay.
And tells him this is who you're supposed to be. Around this point, he is transferred to another prison, and he meets up with a guy who's also in prison, who you might know, named Danny Rand.
Oh, yeah.
Who's really good at Kung Fu.
Yeah.
And they become friends. And then at some point, he tries to basically stage an escape to get out. And him and Danny and another guy are caught doing this. And that's when the guards find out that he has skin that they can't shoot through. And basically, long story short, he takes over this giant prison that's one of the biggest in the world. And now the inmates run the asylum, as they say. And he's extended an offer to join the Ultimates. And he says, I would do more good here, helping out this prison system. And obviously, at some point, he's going to come and join the Ultimates for a big fight. That's why they introduce him. But it's this whole story of this guy who's given these powers and how he's going to use them. And in a very Luke Cage way, he uses them to help the people that he relates to the most on the street. So street level, I should say. So yeah, it was a good issue. And when Danny Rand shows up with like this long flowing like blonde hair, like an anime character, and giant dragon tattoos, I almost sent you a picture because I was like, it's Mike would love this.
That's awesome.
I have Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch, Ghost Agents number 1.
Wow, that is a title. Holy crap.
So this is if you saw, this is the Dark Horse Star Wars stuff right there. They do the all ages Star Wars. It is part of their Hyperspace Stories series. That here's been doing some cool stuff, but I'm reading enough Star Wars stuff. I didn't need more. Yeah. Except they're doing a Bad Batch book. And
oh shit.
Yeah. So I really liked it. It's a basic like they're sent on a covert operation to find somebody during the Clone Wars. And you get to see them take off the suits and try to be normal, but everybody knows they're clones, so they won't talk to them. And all the things you see from the cartoon are in this book. It's a fun action comic that's set in the Star Wars universe. Awesome. I enjoyed it, but if you didn't like that cartoon or you're not into like Star Wars like I am, I doubt you're going to dig it as much as I did. And then the last thing I had to read was One World Under Doom, number 1.
Nice.
It's an event comic, Mike, but I might recommend you check it out.
Okay.
So Doom comes out, and I thought this was a funny take, but he comes out as ruler of the world now. he basically tells all the governments, you can still do your thing, but you answer to me now. And remember, he's Sorcerer Supreme, so he's already like taken over the world and shown them his great power.
Right.
And he goes, but the only thing you have to do is you cannot go against my decrees. And his first 2 decrees are no more war. You can no longer fight amongst each other. And everybody has to have free health care. Funny thing to have your big villain do, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
But it makes sense later on.
Yeah.
And then he goes away. And so we skip to the Avengers being like, something's going on. It's Doom. This can't be all good.
Yeah, this can't be it.
And then we see Zemo decides to also broadcast that he's not, Hydra's not going to answer to Doom. Fuck that. And they attack Castle Doom. And then it cuts away, and like a little bit later, we see they've come to a treaty and they're going to work together now. Hydra and Doom are working together.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And Hydra's going to help build hospitals, and they're going to clear out the minefields in Europe, and all these great things that Hydra's going to do. So the Avengers, once again, are like, something's fishy here.
Yeah. This doesn't add up.
So they decide to attack Hydra headquarters and go after Zemo. And they're able to do it, and when they get there, they realize that Zemo is not there. Well, Zemo's there, they attack him, but he's actually a Doom bot. So something's fishy going on here.
Yeah.
So they go back and they expose this to the world and say, like, Doom's lying to us, look at that. And then Doom comes out and says, yes, I lied to you, but I got Hydra to build hospitals and clear out minefields with this lie. And all it cost was one man's life. And because he admitted to killing Zemo.
Yeah.
And that's when Cap's like, I think it was Cap, but one of the characters was like, yeah, it's going to be a tough sell. Like, how do we convince people that killing one Nazi is a bad thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like legit World War II Nazi, by the way.
Yeah, how are you going to flip that?
And then, so then Hydra's going nuts because now they realize that their leader is dead and that Doom lied to them. So they're starting to attack people and go on all these terrorist missions and everything. And that's when Doom comes out riding a T-Rex Doom.
Oh my god, yes.
To save the day.
Finally, we get to see T-Rex Doom again.
Yes. And they even mentioned that because they have a little editor's note of, I think it was the Thing saying, well, we thought we took care of the T-Rex Doom.
No, you didn't.
And there's a little note that's like, this story was told in this issue of Fantastic Four. And I was like, I remember Mike telling me about that.
Yeah, that's so awesome that they brought it back. It is on my list. I got to read that.
And the end of the thing is the Avengers coming together and being like, he tricked us. He knew we were going to do this, and this was just another way for him to use the world against us.
He's like manipulating.
And we get to see like normal people, hailing to Doom and all this thing. So
sick.
It was a great setup for a new event.
That's awesome.
Really was. All the things that happened in it.
Yeah.
We get T-Rex Doom.
That sells it itself. That's amazing.
And just everything that happens felt very Doom. It is the writer for Fantastic Four right now, and I know you're enjoying that book, so that's another good sell for it. And then RB Silva's art, along with Cruel's colors, it's the best RB Silva's art's look that I've seen.
That's awesome.
The art's really good, and another quick thing because I'm not a big Iron Man fan, so I'm not reading the Iron Man book. This new redesigned Iron Man armor is dope.
Is it? It's really cool.
It's really awesome, dude. Like, it almost looks like a samurai armor with like sick steampunk shit added in.
Yeah.
Because he's got like the shoulder pads from a samurai.
Okay.
But then like valves coming out of it, and it's very rivet heavy, if you know what I mean. It's really cool how they did it. So I think it's the first issue, but it's a promising setup for a event comic that I would recommend people check out. But Mike, that was everything I read this week.
Yeah, I just looked at the new armor. It's really cool.
It's
amazing. That's awesome.
But where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter/X. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on pretty much everything, including Blue Sky, X, all that fun stuff. And also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And if you want to follow the show, it's at Fortress Pod on most social media networks. including X and Instagram and so on and so forth. Also at fortressofcomicnews.com. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to support the show, best ways to do it, 5-star reviews, like, subscribe, share, comment down below, and patreon.com/fortresscomics. See y'all here next week.